SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
We'll pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Roll A, fade up on A.
Southern Miss to the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Monday edition of the SuperTalk Eagle Hour. Glad you're tuned in wherever you are around the state this afternoon. Opening segment of the show. Sponsored today by Dickey's Barbecue Pit, which is a great place to cater your next event or enjoy some delicious barbecue. 7 nights a week, they cook it fresh every day. Nobody does it better than Dickey's. We're broadcasting from the Southern Bancorp studio here in Oak Grove. The full crew is here, Bob, Kelly, and Dima, and we're glad you're with us to kick off a new week. We're going to be talking to our old friend Barry McKnight from Troy University later in the show. And Kelly, in 1,000 years, well, first of all, Barry's been on the show 1,000 times. I never dreamed we'd be talking to Barry about calling a game in the College World Series.
Actually, if Barry is honest, and he always is, he'll tell you he didn't dream this year of doing it either.
That's exactly what he would say.
But a lot of the folks in Troy credit Jeremy McLean.
It's going to be an interesting conversation.
For Troy even being in the tournament, so it will be.
Barry kind of ran from us in Montgomery, but we were sitting there with Jay Walker, me and Dima, so that would probably make me run too, don't you think?
Maybe he thought he was in enemy territory. I don't know.
I think he saw John Cox.
I think maybe that's what it was. Big news for Southern Miss baseball has just popped, and that is that the ace of the Pearl River Community College National Championship Wildcats, and I want to throw that in there, National Championship Wildcats, Drew Harrison, has announced he is coming to Southern Miss and going to bring his pitching expertise to Pete Taylor Park. Drew joins us right now on the Eagle Hour. And Drew, first of all, congratulations. I know that your announcement was really great news for Southern Miss faithful.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Well, tell us what happened. I know that you were originally committed to Jacksonville State. Kind of tell us the process that took place, Drew, and what led to this weekend's decision.
Yeah, so I decided to decommit to Jack State after the head coach, the pitching coach, and the recruiting coordinator left, and about half the team entered the transfer portal. So I looked for new opportunities, and during the season I was scouted by Southern Miss several games, and actually talked to Southern Miss in high school as well. So I've always had interest in Southern Miss, and my dad actually played for Christian Ostrander at Delta State, so we've always had that connection, and things just fell in my hands once I decommitted, and just worked out the way I was supposed to, trusting the Lord's timing.
Drew, was there any thought that you'd follow Coach over to Grand Canyon, where he left Jacksonville State to go to Grand Canyon?
Yeah, I considered it a little bit, but I don't think it was the right move for me.
Drew, this is Dima. Just curious, and I guess just tell our listeners about your season. Obviously, you guys won the national championship, but just to kind of go over some of your stats, 11-1 as a starter, 3.53 ERA, 130 WHIP, 96 strikeouts, 33 walks. Really good season, man. And just tell us, how you grew as a pitcher and what you look forward to showcasing at Southern Miss next season.
Yeah, this past season was, I feel like it was a progressive season. I started slow and progressively got better and better. I feel like that's going to build confidence rolling into the fall at Southern Miss, and ready to prove my worth and earn my role on this rotation, on this very talented rotation.
When you look at other schools that were after you, we know that Oklahoma State made a very strong bid for you, and the University of Miami. People who say Southern Miss can't hang with the big boys, well, the University of Miami came calling, and you chose Southern Miss over Miami. The last 48 hours, Drew, man, sort that house for. That's got to be nuts with all these schools wanting you to come to their campus.
Yeah, it's been very eventful and a lot to process mentally. The decision, you have these big schools chasing after you. With some schools have more money, but at the end of the day, it's not about money. Like Southern Miss brings so many things to the table that some of these big schools don't. Like the family, the relationships, the fan base. Like it's just a big community, and that's just so special. And I know the coaches are great people and influence the players to be better men, and that's just something I want to be a part of. And I don't think that's worth the price tag. That's something you go get. So,
well, I think when
that's the viewpoint I have.
An outsider looking in would ask this question. They'd say, "Well, okay, Drew Harrison is headed to Southern Miss now. How come it didn't happen initially?" You know what I mean? People would go, "Well, he was going to Jacksonville State. Why now?"
Well, people change their mind.
Not earlier.
Circumstances change. Isn't that what happened?
Yeah.
Circumstances change.
Yeah, I never actually had an offer from Southern Miss, but it was they were just unsure of open innings for the next year, and they didn't want to promise me an opportunity when they didn't know if it was going to be open. So, I mean, things just worked out the way they were supposed to, and they knew they were able to give me an opportunity at the right time when it did happen. So
yeah,
I'm glad it happened the way it did.
Circumstances on both ends,
right,
Bob.
And you're going to be joining a former teammate, Camden Clark, who obviously made a big splash here. What did he give you some insight into what life had been like here for him, Drew? Did that help in your decision at all?
Yeah, I talk to him all the time. He's a good friend of mine. We stay in touch. Yeah, he's got so many good things to say about it, and has influenced the decision for sure.
And obviously, I don't need to tell you this. You'll be you're leaving one great coach, maybe the best junior college coach in the country, and you're going to be going to two men that are really considered to be among the elite pitching coaches in Division I. So your game could get even better, Drew, under the leadership of these two men here.
Yes, sir. That's always the goal.
Yeah.
What do you think, Drew? Tell us how your pitching repertoire has changed from when you were a Maverick at Germantown High School to Pearl River, and now going on to Southern Miss.
I think I've learned to work, each side of the plate. Spin the ball faster, throw my all-speed pitches faster. Just developing my game in pretty much every aspect, becoming more of a mature pitcher, learning to correct mistakes pitch to pitch, and just have a clear mind on the mound instead of just going up there aimless, just throwing the ball. That's kind of how I was in high school.
Drew, could you tell our listeners just kind of exactly what your pitch mix is, just for the people who aren't familiar with your stuff?
Yeah, I throw a four-seam fastball, and I throw a slider that's like a sweepy slider, and then I throw a changeup. It's a kick change. And then I throw a curveball, too.
How have you changed mentally, Drew, in the 2 years that you've been at Pearl River as a pitcher from high school?
I think Pearl River has just taught me how to compete at a super high level and learn how to work through tough moments and be tough in the hard times. Pearl River does a great job with the mental game for everybody, just preparing you for anything that comes your way.
All right, Drew. Well, it's good news for the Southern Miss Nation, and as you commented on it, it is a passionate, very large fan base. So you'll get to play in some crazy atmospheres, and we all really look forward to watching you put on that black and gold uniform next year.
Yes, sir. I look forward to it as well.
All right, Drew Harrison, everybody, the newest member of the Southern Miss pitching staff. And all right, you guys cover Pearl River real closely. I don't. Start with you, Dima. Put in perspective what kind of a find is this catch for the Golden Eagles?
Yeah, it's a really good arm. Like you said, four-seam fastball. From what I saw, 92, 95, sits there on that fastball. Got some nice little change up, like you said, kick change, 82, 86. So really good metrics there. Strikeout to walk ratio, like I said, really good. 96 to 33, I believe. And obviously they want those walks to come down when you come to Southern Miss at 33 walks, but it will, and he's going to get behind, Leger and Oz. 3.53 ERA, 1.30 whip. He already has length since he was Pearl River's ace. With Graydon Harris announcing he was coming back to Southern Miss yesterday, we should mention that. I don't think Drew Harrison will be in the rotation next season. If I just had to guess, I'd assume that you'd have Harris, Sundstrom, Clark again. But this definitely gives you in my opinion, kind of like a Colby Allen closer type role, where he can give you some extended length, and they're going to need that, right? Because you're going to be losing two of those guys in this next season between Sibley and Colby Allen. But obviously, I want to see him get another left-hander in the portal. I think they're short on left-handers, but I'm sure that's what they're trying to do right now.
This is a big get for Southern Miss, and I didn't mean to in any way implicate that Southern Miss wasn't at it, because people would go, well, gosh, we should have gotten him to begin with. But like you said, you've already got your cupboards full, but then you anticipate losing people, injuries, draft, whatever. It just so worked out. It just so happens that it worked out, and you're going to love this guy.
And it sounds like they were honest with him about that, too.
Yes.
Which is a good thing to hear.
Yes.
Not surprising, but a good thing to hear.
But again, the fact that Southern Miss is getting guys from the University of Miami that they couldn't get,
there we go,
and that Oklahoma State couldn't get, this shows you where the Southern Miss program is overall.
SuperTalk Eagle Hour podcast, you can hear it anytime you like. Apple Audible, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Alexa or Siri will play it for you. Lots to talk about regarding college baseball and other things, and we'll do that next.
Big news from Robinson Electric Supply in Laurel. We've moved. You'll now find us directly behind our old building, right by Sawmill Animal Hospital. We're still your trusted electrical distributor, carrying everything from conduit to tape. And don't forget our full line of Milwaukee tools. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, stop by the new Robinson Electric Supply at 1222 West 6th Street and see what's lighting up Laurel. Robinson Electric Supply. New location, same trusted service.
Southern Miss to the top. To the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
They're our good friends at Eagle Tire West and Eagle Tire up on Hardy Street. We love telling you about them every day. Eagle Tire West is new. They're out next to Smith Motor Company, Highway 98 West. Both dealerships carry Goodyear and all major brand tires. They do excellent service work on your car or truck. They're honest, they're fast, they are efficient, and they know what they're doing. And they're big Southern Miss supporters. Really appreciate our good buddies at Eagle Tire and Eagle Tire West, as we do our friends right down the street here at Genesis of Hattiesburg, the official auto dealer of the Eagle Hour. Genesis sedans and SUVs, all from Mississippi's exclusive Genesis dealership, Highway 98 West in Hattiesburg. All right, guys, I don't want to get the brave men that hide behind fake names and their laptops all stirred up, but I am going to say that I think you have to tip your hat with respect to Mike Bianco at Ole Miss. Kelly, you summed it up to me this weekend. He just knows how to win in the postseason. There's no damn doubt about that. And also, I think you have to tip your hat with great respect, and we'll talk more about that later, guys, to our rivals over at the Troy University, to their fan base for showing up and supporting them, for their coach who's coached them through this, and Dima Mixon. You say what you want to about Troy, but they didn't look too good in the conference tournament. They lose the opening game of the regional, and right now they may be one of the most dangerous teams in America.
I mean, especially on that side of the bracket, West Virginia, Ole Miss, North Carolina. I mean, if they can wipe out Florida 2 games in a row, I mean, is it crazy to think that Troy could
I don't think it is.
Make the World Series finals? I mean, I don't think it is. I still think Georgia's going to win it all just because that offense is just ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, you got to give credit to them. And like you said, to Ole Miss, I mean, and I saw a lot of state fans on Twitter and things like that saying that Ole Miss had a easy draw or whatever. No, yeah, they had to go to Nebraska, win a tough regional over there. Then you had to go to Auburn, win a tough regional over there. So I would argue that Ole Miss's regional was certainly harder than Mississippi State's with Cincinnati and Louisiana there. Correct. But yeah, you got to tip your cap to them. I wonder, and this would obviously be big Mississippi news, if Ole Miss, they've been shown they win in Omaha. Hypothetically, if they were to go on a run there, I wonder if that would be it for Mike Bianco to kind of go out that way and retire. Yeah. I don't know. I saw some things about that on social medias and stuff saying it would be a good time. Yeah. And obviously it'd be huge news, but like you said, you got to give credit to him.
Here's a great stat, Kelly. There are 3 teams in the College World Series that Southern Miss played during the regular season. You're going to love this. And the Eagles were 6-3 against the teams in the College World Series.
I'm not going to hammer my microphone, but
one team they 10 run.
The Rebels, though, they seem to do their best work when they've had the crappiest regular seasons or whatever. The last time they won the Natty, if I'm not mistaken,
last team in.
They were not expected to do anything. They got hot and steamrolled and won the whole thing, and here they go again.
Yeah,
not ranked at all. And
am I right about this, Dima? I think all through the year of the 3 D1 schools in the state, Ole Miss was consistently ranked the lowest of the 3 schools.
And yeah, absolutely. And, they just kind of got on the bad end of some stuff. Their offense just could never really click throughout the regular season, but now it's clicking. And I've said all along that I thought Ole Miss's pitching staff was way better than State's. I've said that over and over again. I did not want to see Ole Miss in Hattiesburg because I thought their pitching staff was so good. And now it's showing they got a good pitching staff and several bats in that lineup who can win games for them. They're not going to win like State does, where it's 11-9 or 12-13, whatever it is. They're going to win 5-2, almost similar to Southern Miss, but their pitching staff is good enough for them to win that way.
I don't know what Bianco's making at Ole Miss, but if he wrote a book, How to Win in the Postseason,
he'd know.
There'd be a lot of people that would buy that book.
A couple of years ago, they wanted to fire him. You remember that?
Yes, I do remember that. Oh. But whatever that secret is, man, they seem to have it. And I do, and we kind of talking about Troy, we made fun about the sprinkling of people that were there, but I'm glad that their fan base did show up. Truly,
well, it looked awesome.
And really again, and we're going to talk to Barry McKnight shortly. But the other thing, one of the things that I like about Troy is they are outwardly talking about how they feel that Jeremy McClain of Southern Miss did them a favor.
It'll be a good conversation.
Yeah, and getting them into the tournament.
And to clarify, not that we have to, but our references primarily were to their regular season and conference tournament fan participation.
Right.
And for those of you that weren't there but like to criticize us, we were there, and they didn't really have many fans there,
Absolutely not.
Especially when it's just right down the road compared to all the other schools.
But they did show up for the Super, and it looked – but guys –
Now, Bob, I thought you wanted to go to a courthouse in Texas to talk about something.
Well, I do. I've made no secret about my dismay at the world of college athletics. And here's the latest, Kelly. And
here we go.
Dima can fill us in on this, too. But the young man that's a quarterback at Texas Tech was apparently gambling a lot and openly gambling on his own team. And, of course, as Pete Rose could tell you if he were alive, that's not allowed. So the NCAA declared this young – you correct me now, Dima, if I'm wrong. Declared him ineligible because of his gambling.
Which is the very thing they did last week to the Alabama State basketball players that were found guilty.
But this young man could afford attorneys, and he got him some. I'm sure Texas Tech may have had a little something to do with that. You'd be shocked, Kelly. They shopped around till they found a judge in Lubbock, Texas, who issued an injunction and said, he can play. And Dima, why was the judge concerned about this young man not being to play?
Well, we should also note that this man openly admitted to gambling on the team, not even alleged gambling. He openly admitted to it. From the document itself, from the court decision, this is literally what it says. This court finds the applicant has demonstrated that he will suffer a probable, imminent, and irreparable injury if this court does not issue this injunction, because he will be unable to participate as a member of the Texas Tech University football team.
So does that mean he's going to hurt himself?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Or he didn't pay his gambling debts, and that's definitely going to cause some harm.
Are you speaking from experience?
So I've been told. You don't pay your gambling debts.
Duty, Cheatham, and Howe comes to see you, don't they?
You wind up part of an off-ramp next to Jimmy Hoffa's.
Is there any end to the insanity, fellas?
No.
I mean, is there any?
I'm surprised at the end of the injunction they didn't say we're going to pay him $300,000 for his suffering.
Actually, if you go further in the decision that the judge wrote, it says this does not apply to athletes at Central Michigan and Toledo.
No, of course not. In fact, they may go on probation.
Alabama State.
They could go on probation for
yeah,
that. You don't realize that, don't you? I don't know, guys. Well, I mean, are we seeing the destruction of amateur athletics?
It's getting sad. We should note, though, before the segment ends, big news for Southern Miss men's basketball over the weekend. Yes. Isaac Taveras announced that he's coming back to Southern Miss. And do you remember we said it? We said if you could just – you wanted both, of course, with Tyleek Weeks, but if you could just get one of them, you have a nice nucleus going into next season and with the guards they added, it's kind of a good team, Kelly.
Well, I mean, we'll find out when the season starts next week.
And we'll give you the eval in December.
Yeah, when they actually start playing games. We have joked, of course, the college basketball season much longer than any of the other college seasons.
And Southern Miss men's basketball versus your Cyclones, November 6th.
I think that's the first or second game of the year. And
we're going to curb stomp them. Kelly.
And I've been told I'm the only Iowa State grad that's going to be on that charter plane to Ames is Jack McDonald. This sports information director.
I was about to say that's probably a good.
I wonder if they'd let me pay my own way if they'd have a seat for me.
Probably a good bet.
Why don't you just pay your own way anyway?
Oh yeah, I could do that, but I mean,
you could probably get a media credential.
But if the Eagles are going anyway, I mean, just hang out with them.
I don't think they want.
I could show them. I could show them all the good places. I could show them all the good places to go, and where not to park.
Because that day he asked Jay about that, and Jay went,
I'm telling you, I could show them not.
That is good news because when I did that sit down with him at the end of the season last year, he pointed to that kid and Weeks and said, if we could just get these guys back, we would be in good shape.
Yeah,
but he
even
got 50% of it back, and I think that's big.
And the school did announce that the men's basketball team has hired another men's assistant coach, and we'll hope to get him on the program here next couple of weeks.
I don't think Jay's gotten enough credit too for his ability to. He's in this new world where you have to put together a new team every year, and he's done a pretty good job of that, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's literally gone across the world to try to get players in here. So. And I hope for his sake, he's operating under 1-year contract, right? He's only got 1 year left on the contract. So that leads to a lot of speculation as to what's going to happen at the end of this next year. Right. Will he retire, as some people speculate? Will he then go to work for the university? Will the contract be renewed? I think there's a lot of pieces with Jay Ladner. His health is certainly one thing that has come to light, certainly. And we know that tomorrow's not promised, so it's not like he's old by any means, but I'm just saying if he's got his years in, lower the stress load a little bit. College basketball and college football are probably the two highest stress sports you can possibly coach.
God, it's not like he's your age. Hey, for home repair, home remodeling, home construction, everything you need, you know where to go. MCS Home Center. They're Hattiesburg's new improvement home center. Local folks eager to help you. 7329 Highway 98 West. And if you're looking for something good to eat, how about a hot cooked beignet? Mobay Beignet Company, 2902 Hardy Street. Check out their Facebook page. You'll find the topping of the month. You know what it is, Colin?
Peach.
That sounds pretty good to me. When we come back, Barry McKnight is on Cloud 9, and for good reason. He's the play-by-play voice of the Super Regional Champion and College World Series headed Troy Trojans. Stay there.
Southern Miss to the top.
All right, let's get back to it. DBAT sponsors this segment of the show. They're on Hardy Street. Great place for baseball, softball training for kids, sports training for every adult. We really appreciate DBAT. They've been with us a long time, and we're grateful to them for that. Also, Forest Health reminds you that keeping up with your favorite team is fun, but you are always the most important player. Be sure you get an annual physical, eat right, exercise, do everything you can to keep your health as good as it can be, and then rely on Forest Health for expert medical care closer to home when you need it. ForestHealth.org. Barry McKnight is no stranger to the Eagle Hour. He is the play-by-play voice of Troy University. He's been on our show many, many times, and he's really become a friend to all of us here through the years. And so we're really happy. I say this sincerely. We're happy for Barry McKnight to be able to call his team in the College World Series, and he joins us now. And Barry, I want to run this scenario by you real quickly. Fair to say that the middle of the season, very disappointing for Troy. Troy even came into the postseason, the tournament in Montgomery, didn't really perform all that great. I think finished third or fourth in the tournament. You go to the regional, you lose the first game of the regional. Now, how can you explain to me that from that point forward, Troy became maybe the hottest baseball team in America Barry McKnight?
I think back, and I was very, very small at the time, but I remember reading the 1969 New York Mets, who had never finished higher than 8th. In '69, they go crazy. They beat the Orioles in the World Series. The Mets manager at the time was a Hall of Famer named Gil Hodges, and somebody asked him what the moral of the story was in the clubhouse after they won it, and he spread his hands out with a big smile, and he says, "It can't be done." At the point where you're at it, you're looking at it and thinking, "Man, this can't be done." I think a lot of the Troy fans felt that way without fear of contradiction. I think a lot of the baseball world felt the same way. Very likely the only core group of people who didn't feel the same way was the Troy baseball team. There's a couple of things I can point to, and I'm no genius. I don't really know. I'm just riding the wave of all of this. One of it is the fact that the bottom half of the order really got shored up. Goodness, Jay Boroff has been one of the great stories in college baseball ever since really about a month ago. Houston Markham has hit well, and he has defended spectacularly in right field to help augment, the Jimmy Janikis and the Aaron Pisecki's and the Stephen Myers and guys like that. That's the tangible thing. But one of the things I think, and this is kind of a convoluted story, John Sumrall, who we got to see and spend some time with down there in Gainesville, former Troy coach, now coach of the Florida Gators, took us on a tour, and we had been talking before, and we looked back when Troy football in his first year was playing at App State. And it was, college game day was in Boone and everything, and Troy had beaten Appalachian State in every aspect of that game, including the scoreboard, but they hit on a Hail Mary at the end of the game. They rushed the field. It was absolutely crushing. And Sumrall always, even out of the Gainesville media, is pointing out it was at that time when we got together and thought, we are going to circle the wagons. We're going to get a little bit tougher. We're going to try to do things a little bit harder and a little bit better, and ended up winning the first of 2 straight Sun Belt Conference championships. I honestly think that there's some value to somebody who draws a comparison to Dre Barrett's 2-out, 2-strike, dramatic as heck, grand slam in the bottom of the 9th inning when Troy had that game won for a long, long time until they hadn't. It was so crushing that you lose that game, you have to come back, 9 hours later and win the first of 2 straight games just to get to the next day, and of course beat South Alabama, beat Southern Miss, and then lose to the Golden Eagles the next day. I think it was that day, those 2 games after the heartbreak, that got Troy into the tournament, and then of course they lose to Miami, and they had dealt with that disappointment, and they had dealt with that adversity, and the next day they won 2 games. They won a game against Ryder, then they won against Miami and against Florida on the same day, which they had to do in the conference tournament, and then beat Florida to get to the Super Regional. So I think there's probably some comparisons. When Troy had the heartbreak against Miami, you can certainly look back and say, we're in the same boat we were in Montgomery against Southern Miss, when at that point, after Barrett's homer cleared the train tracks and left, Troy was out. They were out of the tournament. There was no postseason. So they had to circle the wagons and get it done the next day.
I absolutely agree with that, Barry. I was there. We were all there at that. And I remember saying to the people I was sitting next to, I was like, there's just no way Troy can come back from that. I wouldn't expect Southern Miss to come back from that. It was just such a crushing defeat. Troy had Southern Miss beat for 17 innings in that conference tournament. And so for them to come back and win those 2 games on Saturday undoubtedly put them in the tournament, number one. And then second, like you said, they can now lean on that. And their pitching was gone, which is why, they lost that Sunday morning game. They just didn't have any arms left. But you can lean on that and go forward. And now you have all these, veterans in your lineup. And like you said, and I was going to ask you that, the bottom of the lineup for you guys has just been ridiculous. It's unbelievable the production you're getting from your 7, 8, 9 hole hitters.
Well, the key there, and I don't know that I can overstress this, is what you've seen over the last 3 weeks to a month from Jay Boroff, the designated hitter, the junior, is what Troy had seen his entire junior college career down at Enterprise State down here when he won the Alabama Junior College Triple Crown 2 years in a row. That's what they saw in the fall from Jay Boroff. Like what happens, and I know you guys could probably cite 36 examples. He got off to a slow start when the season began and the crowds were there and the lights came on. He struggled, and he struggled bad. And it was only with a hot streak starting. I think it was probably the UAB game in Birmingham where he hit one out and then feeling a little bit better. But and of course he's gotten his confidence, and there he goes. He skyrockets. But the coaches will tell you what we are seeing from Jay Boroff now is what we have seen all the time, except for that month and a half, 2 month stretch at the beginning of the year.
And Cavill as well. I mean, Kelly. I mean, he was terrible at the start of the season. This is the Sun Belt preseason player of the year, and he was terrible.
That is fair. And, he remembered who he was. He's not I think probably one of the things that was most detrimental to him was being named preseason Sun Belt Player of the Year. And he thought, well, I've got to live up to that. I've got to become a different player. He's always had power numbers. He's always been good bat to ball, but he was always a guy that worked the count. He'll take his walks. He'll get hit by pitch. Last year, his on-base percentage was over 51%. Now he's, at the beginning of the year, he's chasing pitches, trying to hit it out, trying to get big numbers to live up to the preseason accolades, and it's not who he is. And that's one of the reasons why Skyler wanted him at Troy, was to let him be who he was, which is different than what a lot of coaches would demand. Finally, he's back comfortable in doing what he does. He doesn't have to drive in a jillion runs in front of Janicki. He just has to make sure he swings at good pitches, and if he doesn't see any, then take his base and pass the baton on.
Barry, getting into the NCAA tournament, a lot of people at Troy that I've talked to actually credit Jeremy McClain, the athletic director at Southern Miss, who was on the selection committee. Of course, the Sun Belt got 5 teams in. What say you about the influence maybe Jeremy McClain had in getting the Trojans in?
Well, I don't think there's any maybe about it. I have no doubt about it. And I hope he's listening right now, because Troy people still here give him credit for a lot. He was transformative here at Troy, and I love the man. He is as good a human being as there is in college athletics. And people see Jeremy, who don't really know Jeremy, and they see what a nice guy he is, what a positive guy he is. But Jeremy's tough as nails, and I think he really did have to dig his heels in that selection committee meeting. It's a perception I know that you guys have seen Southern Miss have to deal with their baseball program. James Madison has had to deal with it with their football program, people fighting to keep him out of the college football playoff, and now Troy just trying to get people to take them seriously and not be condescending now that Troy's in the College World Series. This is a quality league. This is a quality baseball league, any way you want to measure it. Jeremy McClain knows it, and Jeremy McClain was effective because he actually had a chance to reinforce that. He actually had the chance to stand up for this league and not say, no, we're not necessarily going to take what your perception of us is. We're actually better than that. And I have no doubt, none, that Jeremy was instrumental in getting Troy in a deserving mode. It doesn't have anything to do with his time here. It's just he knows good baseball when he sees it. And amongst all of the teams that were on the bubble, so to speak, Troy had as valid a reason to be included as anybody.
Well, I'll tell you what, Barry, nobody better not take Troy seriously right now, because I think they're playing as well as any team in the country. And I know I speak for my buddies here when we say that we're not happy that Southern Miss is not in the World Series. We're pretty unhappy about that, but we're happy for you, my man, and we're happy that you get to call your team out in Omaha, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck, Barry. You've earned this, my man.
I appreciate it very much. My broadcast partner, Jerry Miller, he's been doing it for 33 years. One of the most gratifying things about all of this is just how much it means to Jerry. I've been doing it 24 here at Troy. He's been doing it 33 at Troy, and this is a bucket list item for both of us.
Well, there's no doubt who'll have the best play-by-play team in Omaha, and that'll be the Troy Trojans. Have fun, my friend.
If it's down to superior broadcasting, I like our chances.
Right.
Thanks, fellas.
All right, Barry McKnight. Understandably Happy as hell. Can you blame him?
Well, we're going for their throat in football, though.
Well, certainly to his point, though, 2 Sun Belt teams in a row in Omaha.
No question. Speaks to the league.
Yep.
Doesn't it? We'll be right back.
Big news from Robinson Electric Supply in Laurel. We've moved. You'll now find us directly behind our old building, right by Sawmill Animal Hospital. We're still your trusted electrical distributor, carrying everything from conduit to tape. And don't forget our full line of Milwaukee tools. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, stop by the new Robinson Electric Supply at 1222 West 6th Street and see what's lighting up Laurel. Robinson Electric Supply. New location, same trusted service.
You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour. The Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
Home repair, home remodeling, home construction, MCS Home Center. That's the name to remember. They're out on Highway 98 West as well. They're Hattiesburg's new improvement home center. Local folks eager to help you. 7329 Highway 98 West. And look, if you're looking for something really good to eat, Kelly, where would you go for the best buffet in the Pine Belt?
Oh, well, if you're talking buffets, there's really only one place to talk about.
Where would that be?
That would be Movie Star
Restaurant.
Right down the road here from our.
What do you like about Movie Star Restaurant?
Well, I think it would be quicker for me to say what I don't like about Movie Star, which is nothing. I like everything about it. Southern cooking, cardiologist's best friend.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
good
wonderful.
fried
Wonderful.
chicken and
catfish,
okra, and all the southern.
Take it from a Delta guy. They serve really, really good catfish.
And if anybody would know it, it's a Delta person.
And you coached one of the sons of the owner,
Johnny Ford, whose nickname was Movie Star.
Was it really?
That's what we called him. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Well, it's a great place to eat. They've been in business for 25 years, and if you want a delicious Southern cooked, home cooked meal, no place better than Movie Star. And here's how you can get some money to go pay for your meal. If you've got some old gold or silver lying around your house, you can take it where, Kelly?
Well, I would go to Marty Vick at Jewel Masters.
And why, Kelly?
Well, because he's a fair stand-up guy. You'll get a free dad joke anytime, whether you do business with him or not. You'll get a free dad joke. And he's fair. He's been doing it a long time, and you don't stay in business a long time if you're not doing it right.
And you get to see Cindy.
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but but yes, you would.
Great friends at the Jewel Masters and Movie Star. We really appreciate
And you were talking about Eagle Tire West, and in the spots it'll say next to Smith Motors. Are we invoicing Smith Motors?
Yes, we do every month, and we have for about 20 years. So yes, and they're a good SuperTalk account. So
good.
That's one we really don't mind getting the side plug.
Okay, all right.
Because when we talk about Smith Motor Company, we'll have to say next to Eagle Tire West on Highway 98.
I just know how Captain Showbiz is up in Jackson wants to make sure that everybody
exactly correct. Dima, have you got any news and notes?
It's the summer, Bob. There's not much going on. We kind of covered it all in the second segment.
Well, we can't talk for a minute about the College World Series. And, guys, I don't know if you're going to agree with me or not, but it just reinforces to me something I've felt for a long time. It is just the greatest sport. College baseball is a great sport. I watched the Mississippi State Georgia game yesterday with no horse in the race, right? It didn't really matter to me who won. How exciting was that?
Oh, it was awesome. It was just two back-to-back. Both those games were just both phenomenal. And what was funny was, a lot of people thought that the pitching staffs were really bad, and I didn't think so. I mean, all those baseballs that the players were hitting, I mean, they were good pitchers in my opinion, most of them, and they just hit the ball with such authority. I mean, almost every one of them were just blasted to the moon. The couple that Jacob Parker hit, of course, from Purvis down here, just what was like 440, and then the next at bat 439. I mean, just mashing baseballs.
Boy, he did a lot to up his stock, didn't he? And I really feel
just drop the bat flip. That's unnecessary.
Yeah,
but last year, there was some thoughts that along with his brother, that he was going to get drafted as well. And I, frankly, was surprised he didn't. And then to go to Mississippi State and perform the way that he has, I just think is exceptional.
Yeah, and I don't know anything about either one of these guys, but how much difference was there in his brother's play and his play that his brother would be like the 6th or 7th guy in the whole Major League Baseball draft?
Well, they were both drafted. Just obviously Jacob wasn't as high as JoJo was, but both just phenomenal players at Purvis. And the reason I think JoJo's just he's a 5-tool player. I mean, he had pretty much everything.
He's an infielder, too.
Right, yeah. So, when you get one of those 5-tool players who can hit with the power that he does, I mean, that's an MLB, gold piece right there. And then, of course, Jacob Parker in his own right, I mean, really good numbers. And, of course, he got drafted, and he just decided to go to state, Wow. So, which is great for him. I mean, he's going to make himself a name there and probably, like Kelly said, up his draft stock even more.
And I'm glad you clarified that because I didn't mean to say that he wasn't drafted. He just wasn't drafted high enough
he
to
was
where.
drafted pretty late, actually.
Yes, yeah. So the fact that
I'll tell you another name from the past is Matt Walner. We're going to get Al Holder on the show, we think, tomorrow afternoon. By the way, Christian Ostrander will be joining the Eagle Hour tomorrow, and so we'll get a good conversation from Coach. But Matt Walner got demoted to AAA, but he is tearing it up in AAA. 3 home runs in a game Friday night. I think he's about to be moved up. And, Kelly, this should be really good news to you. My man Al, who really does a good job of keeping up with this. Our boy Nick Sandlin is in the AAA team for the Tigers, really bringing his ERA down, really pitching well. He believes he may be in a Detroit Tiger uniform, and I know you wouldn't mind seeing that.
No, I wouldn't. And good for Nick that he finally has arrived to a team like Detroit, where he's got a legitimate shot to win a World Series. When? I don't know. Probably not this year, but we hope that that's the case. And, we were talking about the Parker boys. Another shout out, although not necessarily Southern Miss related, but a Summerall guy, Austin Knight, who's the son of Larry Knight, longtime coach at Summerall. Austin was a pitching coach at East Carolina for about 7 years and was just hired as the pitching coach at Tennessee. So good for Austin Knight.
Nephew of Steve Knight.
Yes.
So the relations are just everywhere.
Talent and then baseball on that side of the family, man, it's amazing.
Christian Ostrander and Al Holder. How do you not tune in for that tomorrow at 1 o'clock? Southern Miss.
To the top.
Time keeps on slipping into the future. I want to fly like an eagle to the sea.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.